Please be seated. I welcome you to the 57th commencement in the 327th year of the college. I'm also going to acknowledge, and this is unusual, it's never happened before, that among our graduates are 2 members of our Board of Visitors and Governors. Why is that funny? We expect all of you to become members of the Board of Visitors and Governors in the years to come. You will also notice, and this is a surprise, if you notice people moving around with big cameras, or you notice a drone filming above, this ceremony is being simulcast on ESPN because of the particular athletic achievements of this class. Now, the Dean will come forward for the presentation of awards and prizes.
Morning, everyone. Actually, I'm going to make just a few, 1 or 2 welcoming remarks. It is wonderful being here with you all, whether here in person or here online, and I'm very grateful that friends and supporters are witnessing this event as well. I hear that one of our graduates has brought a whole gaggle of people. There they are back there. I am convinced that your education, in whichever form, in either of the 2 programs, is as important today as ever. In a world so riven by division, St. John's is a place of health. Indeed, Nietzsche himself refers to great health, a psychological and even philosophical condition of life affirmation in the face of a world that is sick. In doing what you have done, you have given birth yet again to the idea that we humans can talk to each other, listen to each other, deepen each other, and experience joy and happiness in living, even when we are together utterly confused. The texts you have encountered in both the Eastern Classics and the liberal arts programs are the bases for our work, but you all are the engines of this great health. May your great health endure. May you help bring that ever-deepening life affirmation to others. May you help heal the world in the myriad ways that you can. And now I'm going to present the awards and prizes. You can follow along on the back of the program. For her GIEC seminar essay, Hearing the Way, Sung-Yung Bang. Should we have her go down and then walk back up? What do you think? I think so. No, that's okay. You don't have to. For her GIEC preceptorial essay, pretend you're walking across the stage. entitled Loss, Recovery, and Liberation in the Recognition of Shankuntala, Songyung Bang. For her best Sanskrit translation, honorable mention goes to, and it's the selection from the Ramayana, book 13, goes to Damping Lang. And for his best Sanskrit translation, honorable mention, for the selection from the Ramayana, book 13, is Harry Che, unable to attend. And now I want to introduce our dean, who will in turn introduce our speaker.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. It's my pleasure to introduce today's commencement speaker, Topi Haikaro. Topi has been a St. John's tutor here on the Santa Fe campus since 2008. Those of you who have had the pleasure of being in the classroom with him know Topi for his irrepressible sense of humor, his intense questioning, his rigorous thinking, and the true delight he takes in discovery. For a glimpse of this delight, just ask him to describe Newton's account of how far the moon would fall in a minute. Before coming to the college, Topi pursued the philosophy of technology at the University of Helsinki. He holds a PhD in social ethics and master's degrees in theological ethics and philosophy of religion, as well as theoretical philosophy. His prescient 2012 book, Ethics in Technology, a philosophical study, asks provocative and increasingly relevant questions about ethics in a technological world. In recent years, Topi has been actively involved in teaching in our Eastern Classics program, which he tells me he has particularly enjoyed because it intersects in unexpected ways with his work on technology, but also, and even more so, because of the profound perspectives the Eastern works offer on radical self-knowledge and inner work. I have had the good fortune, as many of you have, to be in the classroom with Topi. His boundless interest in and enthusiasm for the work we do here at the college is truly admirable, and we're lucky to have him as a part of our community. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Mr. Topi Haikaro.
Thank you, Dean Davis. That was way too kind. President Roosevelt, Dean Walpin. It's a joy to stand here in front of you today. I'd like to welcome everyone, especially friends and family, to our campus. Congratulations to you, master degree candidates. You accomplished something truly substantial, both in human terms and in academic terms. We often say that St. John's offers a real education. In this age of departmental divisions and social polarizations, we work toward comprehensive human learning and self-knowledge. St. John's is a happy mixture of the American can-do mentality and spirit of freedom combined with academic rigor. Becoming part of this community, you've joined the ranks of our founders, tutors, and alumni, Stringfellow Barr, Scott Buchanan, Jacob Klein, Eva Brand, Curtis Wilson, Robert Sachs, Salvatore Schibona, and Graham Harmon, just to mention a few. This type of an address is an American phenomenon. In my part of the world, we are not very ceremonial. Besides, we barely speak. Moreover, I missed all my own graduations. Thus, I was in need of some bearings on how to approach the task at hand. Plato and Moses, however, warn us against the dangers of mimesis, imitation. what to do. Mark Roosevelt, the president of our college, has taught us that in his graduation at Harvard 1978, Alexander Solzhenitsyn set a gold standard for commencement addresses. He spoke 2 hours in pouring rain. Don't worry, I'm not trying to emulate that standard. Yet I did find some inspiration from Harvard. It happened that Muhammad Ali gave a speech at Harvard in 1975, just half a year after he had reclaimed his heavyweight title from George Foreman in Kinshasa, Zaire. I thought I could learn from Ali, since he was the person who most resembled Bhima from the Mahabharata in our times. Like Bhima, Ali was a real baron and a real warrior. Do you know what the shortest poem in English language is? Don't answer. Well, prior to Ali's address, it used to be a very short poem that has a long name. Lines on the Antiquity of Microbes by Strickland Gillian. The poem goes like this. Adam, Hadam. But that's now the second shortest poem. At Harvard, the students asked Ali to give them a poem. Ali, give us a poem. And Ali gave them this poem. Me, we. Me, we. I think Ali's poem captures our work at St. John's. We usually come to the college because we have our own singular and personal questions. Life questions, philosophical questions, questions about self-knowledge and identity, religious questions, perhaps questions stemming from disillusionment, and so on. Whatever the form and content of our questions, they are almost always deeply personal. In a positive sense, they are rooted in the me. The paradox of the college, however, is that we address our very individual questions together in class. Somehow the me turns into a fruitful we, and among and within the we, the me can find intellectual, existential, and spiritual nourishment. Of course, there's a certain element of indirection here. Plato didn't talk directly about his deepest views, but gave us dialogues in which varied human characters grapple with questions, and in which the conversation itself, indirectly, hints at fundamental truths. Similarly, our seminar room is like a Platonic dialogue in which we get to understand life and our questions better, but also get to know characters, our own and each other's. Since understanding seems to reside in a character, we might come to think that there is no absolute knowing or God's eye view into life. Perhaps the human view is always finite and tied to the character. If our dialogue has a Thrasymachus as a member, this may well make the dialogue even better. In both liberal arts and Eastern classics programs, there are some deep suggestions about the fundamental we. Perhaps the we is nous poietikos, the active intellect. Perhaps Spinoza's substance brings the we to light the best. Or maybe Hegel's world spirit articulates the matter even better. In Eastern classics, one might read Chaumet's condition in the 10-square-foot hut as a testament that hermit's isolation doesn't fully work because it escapes the we. On the positive side, we might be compelled to think that the Buddhist Sangha is the most salutary we. Or if that comes across oppressively too social, then we might find that in terms of the Dharmakaya Buddha, we all share in the same original nature. And in a more straightforward sense, the Mahayana teaching about compassion for all sentient beings refers to a profound we. In Indian philosophy, there are analogous candidates. Perhaps Brahman in its Virata form reveals the we the best. This is one way to understand what Ali wanted to teach us about our program. Yet things are a little more mysterious. There's some debate about what Ali's spoken poem actually was. Some say he in fact spoke me. We! Me! Whee! You need to imagine a question mark after the me and exclamation mark after the we. As you can see, this is a little more perplexing. Was Ali just full of his usual humorous self-aggrandizement? Before the match against Foreman in Zaire, he famously spoke. I've wrestled with alligators, I've tussled a whale, I done handcuffed lightning and thrown thunder in jail. You know I'm bad. Just last week I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean, I make medicine sick. Well, I don't think Ali's poem expresses arrogance, but we need to take another round to get a reading of the second variant of the poem. In February 2008, on my trip to be interviewed at the college, I spent a little time in Colorado before arriving to Santa Fe. At Colorado School of Mines, I met an alumna, a recent graduate from St. John's. I was a bit nervous about the interview. She had some simple advice for me. She said, don't worry. They basically want to know if you can listen and if you can genuinely say, I don't know. So now I need to say a bit about listening, a little more about I don't know. We practice listening in all our classes. When we prepare, the best way is usually just to listen to the book and its author. Interpreting a text is not possible if one hasn't listened to it carefully. Moreover, I believe the books we read are the best books written by the greatest minds. Well, I'm not 100% sure about Motsu. It would be a mistake to think that I know better than the author, or that what seems like a mistake or a contradiction is really a lapse. Then we listen to each other in class. Again, it's not helpful to get stuck at the first impression. I don't agree with this person. With some amount of listening, compassion, and imagination, we start to find everyone's contribution interesting. It begins to become understandable why this singular person thinks the way she does. In the EC program, we track one profound account of listening. It begins in the Analects when Confucius urges his interlocutors to listen to the way, the Tao. This might be the deepest listening there is. How does one listen to the way? One central teaching already comes up in Confucius, but it's developed into an art by the Taoists. Confucius opens up the theme of Wu Wei, non-doing, action by non-action. Wu Wei refers to non-interference into the happening of life that unfolds perfectly when released and let be in its own unfolding. Analects 8:18 reports about Confucius. Quote, the master said, how majestic. Shouldn't you possess the entire world and yet had no need to actively manage it, end quote. And now to the ability to say, I don't know. If we have one master at St. John's, he's Socrates. I quote from his apology to the jury written by Plato. Quote, so I withdrew and thought to myself, I'm wiser than this man. It is likely that neither of us knows anything worthwhile, but he thinks he knows something when he doesn't, whereas when I don't know, neither do I think I know. So I'm likely to be wiser than he to this small extent, that I don't think I know when I don't know, end quote. The Meno is the dialogue we all read at St. John's. It's a conversation about learning as recollection. We learn indirectly by witnessing a poor learner, Meno. Meno's central problem is that he's unable to acknowledge that he doesn't know. He's frightened by the aporia, impasse, to which Socrates tends to lead his interlocutors. Rather than facing his own ignorance, he's chasing after intellectual celebrities like Gorgias. The real I don't know, however, is deeply personal, as we can see from Socrates' words. I withdrew and thought to myself. No one else can teach this I don't know. However, perhaps the deepest account of I don't know comes from East Asia. Now I must read from the koan collection called the Blue Cliff Record. This is the case number 1 in the book. It is one of the not so many accounts concerning Bodhidharma who brought Chan or Zen Buddhism from India to China. The context of the koan is that Emperor Wu was a strong patron of Buddhism. He had built monasteries and helped to translate books as well as otherwise donated to the Buddhist Sangha. Emperor Wu asked Bodhidharma what merit he had acquired by these virtuous acts. Bodhidharma answered, no merit. Emperor Wu then asked Bodhidharma, what is the first principle of the holy teaching? Bodhidharma said, vast emptiness, nothing holy. Who are you standing here in front of me? Asked the emperor. I don't know, said Bodhidharma. Emperor didn't understand. Bodhidharma crossed the Yangtze River and went into the kingdom of Wei. Later the emperor asked Duke Zi about this. The duke said, Your Majesty, do you know who that was? I don't know, said the emperor. That was the Bodhisattva Guanyin bringing the mind seal of the Buddha. Emperor was filled with regret and wanted to send a messenger to ask Bodhidharma to come back. The duke said, there's no point, Your Majesty. Even if everyone in this country went after him, he wouldn't return. End quote. This account wouldn't be a koan if we could explain it. Therefore, I'll just make a few sporadic remarks on it. There are a few details about Bodhidharma worth mentioning. Firstly, he was the 28th Zen patriarch in India. There's a contention that his teacher, Prajnatara, the 27th member of the lineage, was in fact a woman, thus she was a matriarch, not a patriarch. Dogen's description of the lineage and the Korean Zen tradition support this account. According to another legend, Bodhidharma taught the Shaolin monks martial art that became the root of karate and taekwondo. According to yet another legend, he brought tea from India to China. It is also said that soon after this encounter with the emperor, Bodhidharma sat down in meditation in a cave, and this meditation lasted 9 years. In the account of the koan, the Duke identifies Bodhidharma with Guanyin, Kannon in Japanese. This is the Chinese name for Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva of mercy and compassion. Thus, the Duke is implying that this dialogue emerged from great mercy and compassion. If that's the case, why wouldn't Bodhidharma come back, even if everyone went after him? Do I know who is standing here in front of you? If I say yes, I'm most likely kidding myself. If I say no, chances are that I'm just imitating Bodhidharma. I gather that Bodhidharma shows us that we can't know ourselves with our minds. Yet the mind seems to be the only tool we have for our seeking. Despite this insurmountable difficulty, both Socrates and Bodhidharma indirectly show us that there is something in us that is even more real and profound than knowing, and that this something makes knowing possible. I dare say that when we allow the not knowing to happen, and when genuinely listen, we remain open to this something that makes knowing and compassion possible. Perhaps Ali's me, we poem first asks, what am I? And then lets the real unknown I utter a spontaneous exclamation of its eternal delight that is beyond knowing. Coming back to this place and to this moment, Dogen's Imakoko, I congratulate you on your master degrees. You've shown mastery of erudition in reading, thinking, listening, speaking, and writing. What an accomplishment. That is real and official. The unofficial side of it is that you've also tarried with the I don't know, the threatening and yet salutary unknowing that Socrates and Bodhidharma, in their unlimited goodwill, have helped us to face. For the third time, therefore, I congratulate you both officially and unofficially.
Let the candidates for the degree of Master of Arts rise. The candidates for the degree of Master of Arts stand before you.
I, the Associate Dean for Graduate Programs in Liberal Education of St. John's College in Santa Fe, bear witness that these individuals have applied themselves among us to the programs of study in the Graduate Institute, and that they have successfully completed the program in Eastern Classics or in Liberal Arts.
Well, in that case, Dean Wolpen, we, the president, the deans, and the tutors of St. John's College in Santa Fe, New Mexico, bear witness that these individuals have applied themselves among us to the program of studies in the Graduate Institute of Liberal Education, that they have successfully completed their program in the Eastern Classics and Liberal Arts, and finally, that in this public session, on this 4th day of August 2023, they have reached the degree of Master of Arts. In witness of this, we have, on this aforesaid day and year, subscribed our names to these letters, which have been confirmed by the Great Seal of the College. So by command of the Board of Visitors and Governors of St. John's College, I admit you to the degree of Master of Arts.
The candidates for the degree of Master of Arts will come forward as the name of each is called.
Rachel Erica Layden, Rio Rancho, New Mexico, unable to attend. Sung Yung Bang, Seoul, South Korea. Bernardo Castillo Munoz, Guatemala, Guatemala. Harry Augustin Che, Londonderry, New Hampshire, unable to attend. Jared Robert Conahan, Taos, New Mexico. David John Dowd, Santa Rosa, California, unable to attend. Sonia Goidenko, Palisades Park, New Jersey. Mai Trang T. Huynh, Conroe, Texas. Minadair Kaur, Lawrence, Kansas. Jack Lynn Kinsey, Dallas, Texas. Robin Timothy Lancaster, Fortuna, California. Joy Wool Liqueur, Santa Fe, New Mexico. Dan Ping Long, Beijing, China. Cameron Vaughn Mitchell, Spring, Texas. Kenneth Scott Resnick, Santa Fe, New Mexico. Tyler Sheetzel, Canton, Ohio, unable to attend. And completing his triumvirate, George Bernard Stengren, Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah. Yes, yes. Let's give another round of applause to all of our graduates. I should mention just a couple of things. Our closing procession will end with a receiving line near the pond. So graduates, please follow the marshal and the faculty down to the Placida Pond. Guests, please allow the closing procession to completely exit before leaving the audience area, and take care on that staircase. For those in attendance here, lunch can be picked up on the Pond Placida. For those watching remotely, we're not going to eat in front of you, but I do hope you celebrate where you are with loved ones. And once again, I want to congratulate all the graduating students today. You make this place special. Stay in touch. Let us know what is going on with your lives. Come back to visit, or perhaps for some of us, come visit for the first time. Meet other Johnnies in your cities and towns. Read these books again and read other books. And cherish what you have done for yourselves. Congratulations.
Topi lead us in whee? No? All right.